Peace, guys. It's your boy Ebro, the Any Star, host of the Diehard podcast. That's a little sneak peek of what's going on today, man. I got a guest. That's just Aaron R from Knicks Twitter. We call him Knicks Twitter, man, because that is a thing, man. It's like a subgenre for things going on Twitter.
Peace,
So
guys. It's your boy Ebro, the Any Star, host of the Diehard podcast.
as we do it here, everything is live, so you're gonna hear a lot of little things going on here. But without further ado, man, let's just get my girl Limp in here. Hello, Aaron. What's up, man? Introduce yourself to the people.
Hey, this is Erin. I love the Knicks more than anybody else in the universe. That's why I represent them. I have nothing to promote but my love for the Knicks and to help all you corny other fans realize who the real team is. So
that's that is the absolute main reason why I got you on here, man. Because a lot of people follow you on Twitter. You got like 6,000 followers on Twitter.
yeah,
So like you really give it up there, man. So like, well, I don't want to show our business there, but let's do this.
no,
Uh,
that's fine. Listen, I know people follow me because I have a big mouth. I'm from New York and I love the Knicks, and that's fine. I'm down
yeah.
with that. That's.
Well, this right here is the tweet that actually got me thinking about this. It's regardless of records, rosters, and revenue, this has always been a Knicks town. That's not changing. Every year, I have hope, like every other Knicks fan, that this season will pick up pieces and to put together a team that build wins. You never know what can happen, but I keep my faith. So I mean, that's like basically like a prayer for like all from all Knicks fans, whatever. And you're definitely a Knicks fan, and you share that. You said that so eloquently, man.
Yeah, listen, I only care about really three things in my life: my kids, my job, and the Knicks. That's it. I really don't care about anything else. You know why? Because I've been a fan since I'm 16.
Mhm.
My first date with my husband, rest in peace, we listened to the NBA draft on the radio, and that was it. I was hooked for life. And you know what? The Knicks may have their ups and downs, but so do New Yorkers. That's what being here is like. And we've had some great moments and some moments that I'll never forget. And I wouldn't give it up for the world. I mean, there's no other team that has struggled as much, but when we win, this city's on fire. And nobody can take that away from us. And nobody ever will. So whatever corny teams, keep trying because it's not going to happen. Like the Knicks are the only team in this town, regardless of what people are trying to sell
Well,
you.
we got to say them by name, man. The corny teams. We're talking about the Brooklyn Nets, man.
We
And
are talking
you're
about the people that reside in that empty arena with the bad sound. But whatever, I'm listen, I don't go there. So I wouldn't really know. I've only ever been there when it was Knicks Nets. And even then it was just like, you know what, I came once, I saw what it was, never again, did not get my money. I felt dirty, like I should have been home at the Garden. I'm very upset right now that none of us are able to go back to the Garden, and it's a very scary time. So we have to like really support each other through Nick's Twitter to remind ourselves, we still here, we still faithful.
But yo, let me show you this, man. The last time I was in that arena was for the opening night for this season, and
Uh-huh.
they actually gave me this toilet paper here, in a bag that I still have. I don't know what to do with it, so I'm waiting for the day that with especially with COVID, I almost pulled it out to handle my business, because we were running out of toilet paper. So I mean, I don't,
Uh,
I'm just holding it
uh,
just in case.
that's hysterical. That's hysterical. Listen, there's no place like the Garden. I mean, I'm a Knicks fan, I'm a Rangers fan, and there's just no it feels like home to me and it always will. And I think part of being a New Yorker is recognizing that, it takes something big and something great and something that brings the city together. And I'm sorry, but that other team just hasn't done that. And the Knicks have been consistently doing it for years, even though we have a terrible record, even though we've made horrible draft picks. Frederick Weiss. I mean, there's certain things I'll never live down as a fan, but you know what? That doesn't make me stop being a fan. I couldn't love anything as much as I love the Knicks besides my children. Like that's what it is. I have no
Yeah,
shame.
yeah, I definitely feel that, man. That like, before my son was born, I have an older son. He's 17. Before he was born, the Knicks was everything, man. I was like, all hours of the night on all these different draft board, not draft boards, message boards, because back then it wasn't really like an internet, so you had to
Yeah,
like
yeah.
find these message boards. So I used to be
Yep.
on Daily News, talking junk on Daily News, and then
Yep.
MSG had one, but you couldn't say what you wanted to because they kept banning you from there. So that's the era that I come from, or whatever, with the Knicks and stuff. So I mean,
That's what's so
so
great about Nick's Twitter,
mhm.
though, because Nick's Twitter, you get every opinion. I mean, you have Knicks fans for 50 years that'll come up on you, and you have Knicks fans for 2 years that'll come up on you. But we all are stuck together in the hope that this is our year, like every year. I mean, and at the end of the day, you got to understand this is the first year in a long time since Woodson that we actually have a reason to have hope. We have a great core. I mean, I don't care what everybody's doing with these trades. Leave my young core alone. I will build with this. Stop trying to pick up old pieces from other teams that are going to come here and not work as hard as they did in smaller markets. Get out of here, man. Don't come here and build your brand. Come here and work. That's what you're supposed to do. Come here and make this team better and teach these young kids something. And if you can't do that, stay where you at. Like, I don't want you here. I'm good. Like, we don't need that,
Yeah, word
you
up.
know?
That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at too with the whole Knicks thing. It would be cool to get Westbrook and stuff like that, but only
Nope,
if we're
nope.
like not even if we're
Nope,
stealing
not it.
him.
No, no, I'm not giving up nothing. I'm not giving up Mitch. First of all, Mitch, forget it. That's my boy. Like, Mitch is it. Mitch is it. RJ's it. Listen, I know how people are up and down about Frank, but you know what? Listen, this is a hard city to play in. Same thing with Knox. This is, you're not playing in Oklahoma. Okay. This ain't it. You're playing in the mecca of basketball. You're playing with the hardest fans. You're playing with people that expect so much of you. You have fans, you have haters, you have so much going on, and all you're trying to do is come in and do your job and do it to the best of your ability. And also, not saying anything bad about previous establishments in the Knicks, but we've never had a team built like this, from with Rose and all these good people coming in that are it's going to be great. Just give it a chance to be great again. It will be great. It's great now. Don't trade away our young pieces for old broken ones that will come here like we've been cheated so many times before. Like, nah,
Yeah,
totally
I'm
good.
with that. Yeah, I'm totally with that. We had Scott Layden, Isaiah Thomas, all
Oh,
these different.
come
Yeah,
on, stop. I'm still hurt. I can't even talk. I don't even watch Isaiah Thomas. Like, I am so hurt by what he did to the Knicks. I won't watch him on anything. I see him talking, I'm out. I'm like, no, I can't, no, sorry. Not what he did
yeah.
to my team.
Well, that's how I feel about Scott Layden because he wouldn't have
Oh,
done all that stuff if Scott Layden didn't do what he did to the Knicks too. He signed all those guys to those unmovable contracts, and then that led to like Dolan grabbing Isaiah. Hey, Isaiah, do something, man. I need some star power, and Isaiah just went buck wild.
well, we
So
all know part of the problem, unfortunately, is Dolan. This is a guy that was handed a team who knew nothing about basketball and still does it. And, he hired the almighty Phil, who was asleep at the job. And, listen, we lost a lot, during that period. But, we're gaining it now. And what we can't do is make quick moves, because we want to make a splash because it's trade. Like, these players have not played. We didn't have, summer league. They're even training differently right now because of COVID. So, you got to give these youngins a chance. And they didn't really do all that bad last year for, what they were given. I mean, listen, I'm for my team. We're gonna get there. Just don't give up the faith yet. And stop thinking that, one superstar from another team that people are trying to get rid of. There's a reason people are trying to get rid of him. Remember that. Everybody has to remember, when trades are being made and big superstars that have put in work consistently, like Westbrook, who I take nothing away from. The man's a monster. I love watching him play. Do I want him on the Knicks? Absolutely not. If I have to give up my young kids for it, I don't want it. And there's a
mhm.
reason that players get traded. Egos are bigger than talent sometimes, and people forget that.
Yeah, absolutely right, man. Yeah, I'm loving the energy, man. See, this thing. There's a lot of guys on just doing podcasts and stuff like that, but nobody's really talking to the ladies. So I would like to give a voice to the females. And obviously, you have a lot of energy, man, and you're a true Knicks fan. You everything in
Yeah.
this picture here.
Yeah,
Like if
don't
you.
get me started. Don't get me started. Don't make me. This is my autographed Mellow
Mhm.
jersey that I won the last time we were in the playoffs, when they had the outside thing, and they wanted to know all these stupid stats about Mello, and I knew every single one, and they didn't want to give me the jersey, and they just could not give it to me because I knew too many stats. So they kept making up stuff not to give it to me. I was like, give me my jersey. Don't come at me sideways. Definitely about Mello and definitely about these Knicks. Like, listen, if you don't rep your team all the way, what's the point? Like, don't do anything halfway. Do it all the way or not at all. And that's how you have to be a Knick fan. That's really, and a lot of podcasts don't want to talk to women because they think that we're not invested. And some of us are more invested in the Knicks than they are, and they run in the podcast. So get out of here with that mess. Thank you for having the ladies on. We do
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah,
it.
absolutely, absolutely, man. Yeah, I'm glad to see you. So what was the event that you got the jersey? What was that about?
It was the first. It was when we got into the playoffs in 2013. They had the outside festival where you could like answer. I got my face painted. If you see on my page, you'll see I have my face
Okay.
painted in Knicks, and I had
Mhm.
my niece get her face painted with me. And it's like, listen, I'm raising new generations of Knick fans. Okay, my niece is young. My granddaughter's gonna be 6, and she chants, "Go New York, go New York, go." She tells me, "Grandma, you having a bad day?" You see, that's it. She said, "You having a bad day? Let's watch basketball." I'm like, "Baby, there's no basketball now." She's like, "Oh, Grandma, you're sad." Yes, I am. I'm very sad. I need my Knicks back on the TV. And
Mhm.
it's important to keep the generation of Knicks fan going. You have to have some thread to your consistency and your loyalty, and mine is the Knicks, and it always will be. I just can't imagine going hard for another team the way I go for them because there's an energy there. When you're in the Garden, there I don't care about anything in the world. When you're in the Garden, you see tourists from all over the world coming to see the Knicks. You know why? Because they love it as much as we do, and they're in their countries watching. So can you imagine a fan base that is so great that they're watching from other countries, and when they come to New York, they waste ridiculous amounts of money to come to the Garden because those tickets are expensive. And you know what? It's worth it. It's worth every penny.
Yeah,
You know.
absolutely, man. There's actually a guy that I've been dealing with now. He's actually from Poland, and he wakes up at like 10 o'clock at night, 3 o'clock in the morning to do podcasts. Even when the Knicks games are going on, he's up at that time. And there's a bunch of other guys in Austria. We talking about Germany, all over the freaking
Yeah.
world. All hours of the night they watch the Knicks, man.
Let me tell you something. Knicks fandom is real. That's why I'm saying, like, you can have your other teams. You can do whatever you want. Your team is your team. I respect that. But at the end of the day, in New York, the Knicks are the team. That's it. You can tell yourself whatever stories you want, but the Knicks are the team. And when we win here, even when we just win one game, the next day the papers are crazy. The people on the train are happy. The people in the bus are happy. The people in the streets are happy because that's how the Knicks make us feel. Like, you can do anything in New York. And if you can win in New York, you got everybody. And they got me for life.
Yeah. Look at a guy like Walker Frazier. He's still eating off that
Oh,
championship. That
come
happened
on.
like what?
Come on. He could eat for life. Clyde is the best. Listen, I can't even, I was so disappointed. One time I tell people right away, like, if we talking, like, there's two things you got to know. Like, you have to be a Knicks fan because I'm not even going to debate that if I'm not at the Garden, I'm not watching the game. So one day, I guess I was watching the game somewhere else and they try to watch it on another channel. I was like, you better put on MSG. I'm listening to Clyde. Like, I'm not listening to nobody else because he really loves the team too, and that's who you should have working for your team, people who love the team as much as the people playing on it. And that's the only players I want here too. I want people that want to be in New York. I don't want people that are traded here because they got in trouble someplace else or they don't like the owner someplace else. Nah, I want you to be in New York because it was your dream to play in the Garden, and that should be every basketball player because this is the best place to play basketball, bar none.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yo, this guy, Stephon Marbury. I know he had like a bad era when he was with the Knicks, whatever. But
Still
it's
love
it's
him.
it's yeah. He's so crazy because even though he went through all of that, he still talks like a Knicks fan. He said, "Yo, I'm a Knicks fan, diehard or whatever." And it's like, yo, he played in the NBA, and like he's still like just
He's
like
a
us,
cool guy. He's a cool guy. I met him a couple of years ago. There was like a fitness thing in Ford Amphitheater in Coney Island, and he was giving out his sneakers and he was just talking to people. And I was so starstruck. And the guy I was talking to was like, "Oh, you out there?" I was like, "That's Stephon Marbury. Are you crazy? Like, that's like this is one of the hardest working Knicks. Just because he had a bad time here, listen, neither did Latrell Sprewell. Not everybody had a good time when they were here, but they were a Knick. And when they were a Knick, they played as hard as they could. We don't know what other people go through emotionally and lives that they lead outside of the team. So, not every day is going to be a great day, but as long as when you're here, you're working hard, I appreciate you and I value you. Once a Knick, always a Knick, period, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man, he's a great guy. But I want to talk about like what was your most like favorite era? You know, I know you mentioned a couple players, whatever, but like what era?
Starks,
What
Starks. I
starts?
waited online 3 hours in, I think it was an A and S, or that's how long ago it was for his autograph. And my man was like, "Are you crazy?" I was like, "I'm not leaving." Like, this is a man that went from bagging groceries to playing on an NBA team. This is a man that got my hopes up and my heart up so many times. And I just love it. I love it. I loved him. I loved that. I loved, Oakley, Mason, Starks, Ewing. That was my era. You know what I'm saying? But I never gave up, and the grit. I remember Rolando Blackman bleeding on the floor. Like, that's the basketball I watch, not this soft stuff now. Everybody's with the ticky tacky fouls and everybody flopping all over the place. I'm still watching, but I remember the hard knocks basketball. That was my era. That was, really seeing people fight when they didn't get the paychecks like they did now, and they worked so much harder for it. They didn't have brands to build. They just came to work. And I think that's what's missing in today's NBA is that real work ethic. They're so busy building a social media presence that they're not worried about their real presence, and that's part of the problem. So that's why I want the young kids here in New York, because let them learn from day one what it really is to work hard and to hustle hard. And that's what I need, you know?
Yeah, that's one of the problems I have with everything that's going on. It's like an sense of entitlement, just with the
Oh,
players and just the way that they come into the NBA. Because like they're only like a few footsteps away from being in high school, so they've been pushed up the ranks, and then now they only go through 1 year of college, and they're already like right now draft time. They're
talented.
already they're already up the ranks in the draft and stuff like that. So now they become an NBA player, and they think that it's still like, oh, I'm going through drills, and they still need father figures and this type of things. It's a whole different era, man.
No,
Like
I
the
agree. I think
Mhm.
they should have them stay mandatory at least 2 years. Like, why do I even want you after 1 year? Like, what you know after 1 year in college? What do you really know? Not even playing basketball. What do you really know in your life 1 year out of college? Like, you don't learn anything until your second or third year that you start to appreciate and value and understand what time management is and risk management. And a lot of these kids are coming onto teams in markets, and they're not prepared for everything, and that messes with their game too. I think that's a lot what's going on with Knox. People want a lot from Knox, but this kid was not prepared, not for this market, and it's going to take a while,
Yeah, he's a kid, man. He's a baby. I think he might have came in the NBA when he was like 18. He came with
exactly.
with the Fortnite and the jacket. So I mean, he's a baby. They didn't really do their homework, as far as like trying to figure out a kid with a certain. I don't want to say character because he comes from a good family. His dad is pretty hard dude, but it's just like his mind, just the mind frame. They're not really doing a good job with that.
Not
So I mean,
everybody's built for New York. Remember that.
yeah,
Not everybody's built for New York. It takes a certain character level and a certain moxie. I hate to use the term, but you have to come here, and you have to come with that chip, because people are spending all day knocking it off you. You can't come here frail. That's why people talk a lot about Frank, but listen, Frank's still at it. And people talk crap about him all day long, every day. There are whole message boards dedicated to "I hate Frank," which is terrible, because this kid is not even from this country, and he's still doing his best, and he's still working hard. And not everybody, comes in with an NBA body. An NBA body has to be built. Got to feed these kids, got to get their weights up, got to make them hit the floor and get back up like nothing. We can't have these crybabies on our team.
yeah.
You got to
That
work hard.
Yeah, that's the essence of New York. We're hard workers. Everybody's just grinding. We're all on top of each other. Nobody gives a damn if you fall or whatever. Nobody cares. Whatever. Just get up and do your shit, man. Keep the train moving. We got somewhere to go. You know what I'm saying? That's the
Exactly.
type of that's the tradition. You
Exactly.
were speaking on tradition and bringing the kids up and whatever. So that's great, man. So I mean, what about that era else that like let's say like a moment. This the whole Starks era. What moment can
Well,
you think of?
obviously, when he dunked on Jordan. So I mean, there is no better moment. I mean, because that was like the one thing that Knicks fans, we bought that poster and we hung it and we just prayed to it every day. We were like, this is our moment. This is our moment. I mean, listen, I hate to talk crap, about, certain other players, Charles Smith, Mr. Softy, I mean, Allen Houston, who we paid too much for, after his prime. I mean, but they had their moments in my life, and I love them. And, like I said, being in the Garden through that was like, it, I can't even explain it to you. It was just so magical, if that's the correct term. Like, there was nothing like those screams and the way we cheered, and still to this day, I hate to say it, but I've had to stop talking to people because I took them to games with me and they complained that I cheered too loud. And that was the end of them. Like that's what I'm at the Garden for. Like, how you complaining I'm cheering too loud? Get out of here. That's my job. Like, that's legit my job. To buy those $18 Hennessy shots and and chase them with the $14 beers, and you know what? Scream like a madman because those seats are expensive, and that's my team and I want them to win. And I want my players to hear me screaming from the 100 seats, from the 300 seats, from the 400 seats. I want them to hear me scream because we're here for them. So, and they need our motivation. I think that's really going to be hard for the players. I mean, they did an outstanding job in the bubble this year, teams alone, and that had to be hard with the fake fans. But, like, I want whoever comes, whoever we pick up in the draft, I really want them to get to experience the Knicks as it should in the Garden. So hopefully, that'll happen. Hopefully we'll get this vaccine and hopefully we'll be back to our seats, ready to go, ready to cheer, ready to scream, for the best team in the NBA.
Yeah. Well, that's very important too, because a lot of people forget we're like what they call us, the sixth man, the people in the crowd. So I mean,
Yeah.
everyone's so negative. Everybody's always dissing Knicks fans and stuff like that. But everybody loves the Knicks. They're all closet Knicks fans and stuff like that. So
Oh yes.
like,
Oh yes.
if you're putting out negativity, you're gonna get negativity. So we've
Exactly.
been getting screwed the last 20 years. So we need our real fans, our real diehards like yourself. We need to get out there and just show these guys, that we're here, we're still here. We're right behind you. You guys do your thing, and we're gonna keep supporting no matter what.
Listen, I never stop buying Knicks merch. Like, I bought my son-in-law a Knicks towel the other day for his birthday for no reason because he's a Knicks fan, and I'm just showing him support for supporting my team. That's it. Listen, I'll keep spending that money. I know nobody like Dolan, but every bit of merchandise I buy goes back into my team somewhere, somehow, for my player development. That's all I think about. Somewhere my
Yeah.
money is going back into my team, and I'm supporting them on the streets of New York because I'm tired of seeing these people talk crap about my team trying to wear that Brooklyn mess. Do you know when they did their advertising campaign, they said take the one to Brooklyn? The one didn't even go to Barclays. What are you talking about? Like,
Nowhere near
no,
Brooklyn.
your own marketing team didn't know that the train you put on the poster didn't go to where your team played? Bro, stop. Stop. You got the wrong
Yeah, no,
people. Get out of here. Stop. Stop.
yeah. Enough is
Stop.
enough with that. Well,
Yeah,
tell
keep it to
tell the
themselves.
people where you're from. Yeah, what part of New York are you from?
Well, I'm from the Lower East Side originally. I've been transplanted to Brooklyn. My parents moved to Brooklyn when I was a teenager, and I've been here ever since. I'm in Sunset Park now. I love Brooklyn, even though it's gentrifying rapidly. But I did grow up on the Lower East Side. So when people say, "Oh, you're from Brooklyn, you must be a Nets fan," no, never. I'm a Knicks fan for
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, I don't know where people get that from because I'm from Brooklyn too. I'm from East New York, born and raised. My whole childhood
Uh-huh.
there in East New York, whatever. But I mean, like just because you're from Brooklyn, it makes you a Nets fan. The Nets haven't been there but so long. They only been. I don't even know
They
when they
are the
got here.
New Jersey Nets, just in case
Yeah.
anybody didn't know. And the last time that they were even relevant, I think Jason Kidd was on them. I mean, whatever. They made the playoffs, they splashed out. Whatever, man. Listen, stop.
Yo,
I don't even want to
Nets
talk about
fans they didn't even watch the Nets when they were in the finals. They were in the finals 2 years straight, and the Nets fans didn't even watch them.
that's what's really pathetic. I mean, and that's what's sad about their fan base. And they could take a lot of lessons from us because you got to show support when they're bad or when they're good. You got to show support when they're up or when they're down. You can't just be those fair weather fans. We listen, go follow another team, bro. Like, be in it or not. Like, you can't do that here. We don't do that
Yeah.
here.
you know, and we're from Brooklyn too, so we don't really give a fuck about that nonsense. We are for our people, and that's what it is. We show love,
we
spread love. There is the Brooklyn way. That's what we do. So they try to come here and take the city away from us. They try to but
impossible.
they sold their soul by getting Paul Pierce and all these different guys.
See
That
where that
that
got
that's
them? See where that got
look
them?
look what that
Yeah.
got them, and now
See
they're
why I
about to
don't
do it
want to do
again.
that? Yep, and I'm about to laugh all the way to listen. I've been mute. Like, I don't listen. I'm not trying to jinx anything because we have made it through so far without making any stupid trades, which is absolutely fantastic. Which means Leon Rose is doing his job, and if he is doing something, I'm sure he's not going to jeopardize our future by taking on an aging star who doesn't really want to be here, who's just getting traded out of a market because he wants a bigger market for his bigger brand. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. God forbid, knock on wood, it does. I will love whatever Nick comes, but it's not on my plan. It's
Mhm.
really not, because I've seen other teams do it for, or you don't want to snake like somebody like KD. Like everybody's like, oh, KD, Kyrie's weird as hell. KD's a snake. Get out of here. Like I wasn't sad. Neither one of them came. Everybody was like losing their mind. Like, are you kidding me? Like, what did you losing your mind about? This guy joined another team just to beat another team. Like, what? Come on, man. That's snake behavior. He spends all day on Twitter, bro. You a whole NBA star. You got nothing to do but hang out on Twitter all day. Go donate some money to some after school centers or something. Get off your keyboard, bro. Get out of here. Nah, I'm good.
Yeah, I,
I'm good.
yeah. I love it, man. They have no idea what this New York thing is about. They have no idea what this Brooklyn thing is about.
Exactly,
Absolutely.
exactly. Listen, but that's how people are. The biggest lies are the ones we tell ourselves, and that's what Nets fans been doing lately. So.
That's a whole fact right there. Well, well, the truth is, right? We didn't make any moves yet. We still got our draft picks. So what are you looking at? What do you like at the eighth pick?
I want to say Hayes, but the Frenchmen have been iffy in my life, so I don't know how to feel about it. But like I heard your other podcast, and there really is nobody great in this draft, and fingers crossed. I'm not really a LaMelo super fan, but if something was to happen that we were to trade up to bring him here, I don't think he would do bad in New York. But like I said, I'm a Knicks fan, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed and my mouth shut because I'm sending out my thoughts into the universe and hopefully manifesting a really good player.
Yeah. Like for me, I really don't want to jinx it either because I feel like my mind is powerful. Like you just said, I don't want to
Yes,
put things in the
yes,
universe. So I feel
yes.
like if I take off this hat, then I'm just gonna like my brain waves are gonna destroy everything. So that's why I can't really zero in on a certain player because I feel I really like a lot of guys. So my thing is like whatever whoever they do their research on, whoever they decide to pick at 8, they
Uh-huh.
could just go with it, and I'm gonna just rock with them because I'm a Knicks fan.
Well, at the
They're
end of the
gonna
day, this is a mediocre draft. You know that. So I mean, it's not like there's any super outstanding players that you're like, wow, this is the player that There were so many deeper drafts in our time. Like I said, I'll be 46 this year, so I've watched a lot of deep drafts, and this ain't it. So we'll be lucky to come out of it, without paying a huge contract to a kid that washes out. So that's the problem. So I'd rather, and there are plenty of people that we've gotten lower in the draft that have done exceedingly well. So like I said, I'm just putting out my good energy into the universe, manifesting greatness, and hoping that happens.
yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, man. It's great talking to you, man. Because I love the energy. I love the Nick stuff because it's not a joke, whatever. This
No, well,
this is
thank you for
this is the
having me
real.
on, because people really think that, oh, she's just a cute chick and she don't really know about her team. Nah, I know more about your team than anybody because it's my team and it's been my team longer. It's been my team for 30 years. So, you know what? Unless you've been a Nick fan 30 years, then you don't get to talk nothing to me and ask me about anything. That's my team. Like, and you know what? The number one thing in being a Nick fan is heart, and that's all I got is heart, and especially for this team. And no matter what mistakes we've made in the past, every day is a new day with no mistakes in it. So ours time is coming. It's gonna happen.
Yeah,
Just keep the faith.
yeah. I believe we're on a perfect path right now. Everything the slate is clean. We have a full cap space. We got all these young guys coming in. The perfect coaches here. The stage is set for
So
something.
excited. Can we talk about Tibbs? Can we talk about it? Like, I am so
Yeah.
excited to have a defensive minded coach. Thank you. Defense wins games. Stop it.
Hmm.
Anybody
Hmm.
that does not teach defense, like, you cannot have turnovers and expect to win games. You cannot have these high turnover rates. Like, it's ridiculous. And you shouldn't even be playing that sloppy. You shouldn't even come out of practice sloppy. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing
No.
about Tibbs that people don't like, is that he's a hard worker and he makes them work. So, when people say that he didn't work out his last place, maybe the egos were too big in his last place and that's why he didn't work out. So, because
Yeah, absolutely.
we,
We just talked about it. Nobody wants to work.
yeah,
So I mean, like Thibodeau's a mastermind. He's gonna be evaluating guys, and he's gonna put them into spots where he think they could be successful. Now, if you're not gonna do your job, then that kills everything. So he's
ride the
not gonna play the
bench,
yeah,
ride the
he's not gonna
bench.
play those games. I think he's definitely gonna bench guys, and he's not gonna play games with these kids.
I'm for it.
Whoever's
Like,
ready. Hmm.
I'm for it. Ride the bench. You're not producing. Sit on the bench. I don't care how much we paying you. If you're not producing, ride the bench. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your emotional. You come here. You got 2.5 hours. Get the job done, because everybody here getting paid way more than the people before you, and they worked a hell of a lot harder. So just mute
Yeah.
it and get the job done. That's it.
And like the Nets said, take the one train to get to the Barclays Center. But if these guys don't want to play for the Knicks, if they don't want to play and do what they're supposed to do, they could take the one train up to Van Cortlandt Park and send their ass all up to Westchester, and then figure it out up
Right
there.
back. I agree with that. Not many people agree with that. And I agree with that. I don't care if you're a superstar or not. If you're not playing right, you could go right back up to Westchester. And you know what? Get to work on the moves. I don't care how much you make. Put your ego aside. If you are getting paid more than the other people are on this team and you're not doing what you have to do, get on that bus, get in that cab, get in that Uber, go right back up to Westchester and start to relearn the basics, because you're not only messing up, but you're messing up the people around you. So now if you're a superstar and you're showing these kids that you ain't got to work that hard, that's not good for me. And that's not good for the rest of my team. It's just not. So,
How do you feel about Julius Randle? What do you think? What is your thoughts on him?
He's not a bad guy. I mean, he crazy. He's like a J.R. Smith. Like, he just chucking it. I mean, he just don't even care. He's streaky. I mean, I don't hate him. I mean, that's a good thing. Do I care if we keep him? Absolutely not. I mean, if you can put together a package where you get Westbrook and Randall's in it, I have no problem with that.
Well,
But
see, I wanted to ask you that. I want to ask you that's what actually one of the rumors they were saying, that it was going to be Randall and maybe DSJ and like maybe like a second round pick. What do you think about that?
Congratulations. Don't touch Mitch. Don't touch Barrett. Don't touch Knox. Don't touch Frank. These are my untouchables. Because what you don't understand is when these kids grow up together and they are gelling and they are hanging out and their families start to know each other, and they're really going to build that cohesiveness that you need to develop a winning culture. You cannot do that with older players that have come from other places and have big egos that want to tell these young kids what to do. Absolutely not. I need older players. You know who I would have loved? I would have loved Jamal Crawford back. I would have loved it, because this guy is the consummate professional. This guy has never stopped working. I mean, because once you leave the Knicks and you go someplace else, it must be so hard for these players, because they're like, man, I really had a market. I really had to work. I really had fans. And then you go other places and you're like, what am I doing here? But, I don't know if it was Randall. I think last year, right, that he said it was the first time people were cheering his name like that. Yeah, that's the Garden. That's what we do.
That was Bobby Portis. I think it was
that was Bobby Portis, right?
Yeah.
Bobby Portis said he was like, it was the first time people cheered. Yeah, because you're in New York and we love our people like that. So if we love you like that, we need you to work like that. So, just don't come here with the halfness. I don't need it. Like I said, sorry, Randall, sorry, Portis. I mean, like any one of those older guys, and I'm not being mean, but I'm just saying, like, I need young talent that's on the way up, not older talent that may be on the way down, or weird talent that doesn't know what to do after they've been here a long time, because they should already know. I don't know what happened to DSJ. I really, that's like the enigma and question of the universe. I don't know if it's ego. I don't know if it's personal problems. I don't know what's going on there. So.
Yeah, that's just the development. He like I say, just a few steps away from high school. He didn't really have those life lessons to help him connect the dots to get to this point. Now you have to like face life in front of the lights, and he basically crumbled under them.
Yeah, but not an excuse, because your paycheck is big enough to hire people outside of the organization for you to do your job well. So whatever, I don't know what you do personally or whatever I do. If I have a job and I'm not excelling at it, I'm going to get a tutor. I'm going to find an outside person that I can shadow. I'm going to get a mentor. I'm going to be the best at what I do, especially if I'm in a market like New York, because I'm not going to look bad here. Maybe I'll look bad in Idaho or wherever, but I'm not looking bad in New York. So they have enough money that they shouldn't be cheap. Hire, a shooting coach. Listen, I don't know what's wrong with you. You invite the other guys. So what? You laid out your pocket. Oh, well, there's going to be a lot of things you laid out your pocket, like the strip club, and you ain't mad at that. So lay out for your own shooting coach and figure out what's wrong and get it done. I don't care.
Yeah, I heard
No
the chicken wings
excuses.
are pretty good. The chicken wings are pretty good in the strip clubs in Atlanta, according to Lou Williams.
Yeah,
man.
And I'm sure Harden, to turn down $100 million. I mean, man, that's a lot. That's a whole lot, I can't him either. Like, people are like, oh, and then everybody's all excited about all these rumors. Stop. Just stop. Until something's done, stop. Until it comes from Woj, stop. I don't want to hear it. Just stop selling yourself a dream, because you're mixing with my energy.
You're fucking with the Knicks juju here,
Yeah, come on. And we believe in that. You said it too. You were like, I don't want to jinx it.
I lost my cup. I was gonna show you my Kool-Aid. I had some Knicks Kool-Aid, man. I sip it every day
Ah,
to try to.
listen, do what you got to do. As long as you keep it in here, and as long as you keep it in here, there's nothing. Listen, I don't know how anybody could be any other fan in New York because I'd be sick because you know what? Every day, I mean, not so much because it's COVID, but every day I would take pictures of people with fellow Knicks stuff. Anyway, I'd be in Long Island, Knicks stuff. I'd be downtown, Knicks stuff. I'd be uptown, Knicks stuff. Listen, I go to Jersey very rarely because I hate it, but Knicks stuff. Like there are Knicks fans everywhere, and you know what? That kind of energy is unbeatable anywhere.
Yeah, and if you have the balls to have the stuff on, man, I gotta be like, yo, man, what's up? What's up with the Knicks? You gotta show love to them because they have the balls to wear it, and they know we under all this kind of scrutiny as fans and stuff. So you know,
Well, I was pretty ballsy for Halloween. I decided I was going to be a Knicks City dancer because somebody had gave me a Knicks City outfit, and I wore it downtown. I was in downtown Brooklyn, so all these Nets fans was going at me, and I was arguing with them something terrible. I was like, "Listen, you're a Nets fan. You can't even talk. Like, get out of here. You don't even got nothing to talk about. You a transplant to my borough. Get out of here. Get out of here." Like, no, I wear my Knicks stuff anywhere, any day. As you can see, I have this is the collection. I mean, there's so much of it, but there's so much more that's not here. Like, listen, I will spend all my money on Knicks stuff every day, all day. I will wear it. I have Knicks hats, Knicks scarves, Knicks whatever. Like, get out of here. I'll wear it anytime for no reason. And you know what? If you, like I said, what's the point? Like, why be half a fan? Like,
yeah.
for what?
Well,
We got enough of those.
you, yeah, you made that point too that we're spending a lot of our money. So like with the players too, like if they want to be great, they have to invest in themselves. It's their career. They're the ones that want to be somebody. So you have to put in that work. You can't blame it on the Knicks coaches and stuff. If you want to be a good shooter, yo, you got the money, hire somebody. You know what I'm saying? If you want to learn how to dribble, if you want somebody to teach you the plays and stuff like that, you have the resources. So let's
How many people went? Was it Dikembe Mutombo that used to run the camp, right? So there used to
yeah,
be people that used to go to his camp and work on it all summer. So what are you doing all summer? You got all COVID. You guys should be working. Like you've been homebound. You should be in the gym. You should listen. I don't want to hear nothing. You had all the time in the world to practice, and now you better come at me with the season I need. Like I want to see the work. I want to see
yeah,
wins. I don't want to see losses. I like listen. There's growing pains to young clubs, but you know what? These guys are gonna get together. We're gonna make the right moves. We got the right coach. We got the right execs. Finally, so hopefully the ghost of Isaiah Thomas and Layden will stay the hell out of the Garden, and we won't have
yeah,
to worry about all that sideline stuff that was happening while they were here that had nothing to do with basketball. I,
yeah.
we're too great a
Well,
franchise to be brought down by bullshit.
yeah, yeah. You can say as much curse as you want. I love to curse. We're from Brooklyn. We're
Yeah,
real
but I
people.
mean, listen, I really curse, so I'm like being on my best behavior right now.
Well, that's great, man. So, I mean, thank you for coming in with me, man. I just wanted to show because I knew I could see your post, whatever. You're very passionate. So I said, you know what? I need to get her on the show so people could see, how real she is. Because I
Yeah,
everything
nothing to
that I
promote.
thought of you. Yeah,
Yeah.
everything that I thought of you is right on display here, man. So, I'm really glad that you came on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm a real New Yorker. I'm a real Nick fan. I'm a real person. And you just have to understand there's nothing better. I'm sorry to say this to you, other fans on other teams. You don't live in New York. You don't have what we have. You can't build what we built. And this comes from the heart. And it comes from, being a New Yorker and loving a team like it's a family member. And the Knicks are my family. And so is all of Knicks Twitter, whether they like me or not. So thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, before you go, I just want to say, how mad would you be if you saw like New York, like Brooklynites walking around with the fake beards around? How mad would you be if you saw that?
I don't know. I'll be embarrassed. Are they picking the lint out? Because he ain't. Because I see him on TV all the time with lint in his beard. So listen, I
Oh
ain't
my
worried
God.
about it. I ain't never worried about no Net fan. Not once, not ever. I can. I'm a Knicks fan. They beneath me. So
Yeah, yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So I mean, this is just Aaron R. What can people call you? Just call you by that?
well, listen, that's my real names because I'm a real bitch. So that's why I like people be on Twitter with all types of fake names and filters. I never have a filter. My mouth ain't filtered. Neither are my pictures. Listen, just Aaron R. That's who I am. Feel free to get at me and talk Nick shit because that's my favorite DM to get. Is if you want to talk to me in my DMs, talk to me about Knicks. You want to get me to pay attention to you on the timeline, talk to me about Knicks. Just don't talk no Knicks slander because I'll block you like that. Get out of here. We don't accept Nick slander
I
ever,
got you. I got you.
anywhere.
All right. Well, thank you for hanging out with me, man. You know, and just everybody, you can follow her just Erin R on Twitter, and just join in the conversation on Nick's Twitter, man. There's a lot of stuff going on. People are talking. I'm getting hit up right now actually because people
Yeah.
can't believe that that I got you on the show. It's kind of funny.
Because a
So
lot of podcasts have asked me to be on the show and I kept denying them. But you know what? Listen, it was this time you were so passionate about my team. I read your tweets. I know what it is. And listen, I appreciate my Nick brethren and keep hope alive. Keep the faith, people. Do
yeah,
not give up. Don't let these cornballs get you out your way. I don't care what trades they make. I don't care about nothing. They not your team. They imposters. Get them out of here. Love your team.
yeah. That's great, man. That's a great way to end the show, man. So anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. This is a beautiful young lady right here. You know, true diehard Knicks fan right here. Just Aaron here. All right, so thanks again, man, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.
All right.
Peace.
Take care. Bye.